G'day everyone, James here with JWN Lawn Care and Landscaping, bringing you another video. Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Been a while since I've done one of these more non-a day with JWN Lawn Care vlogs, I guess, because I feel like I'm really just kind of, not getting as much time to just take the camera out and record some other stuff for you guys. Don't mind Space Dog here. So I'm going to try and get you some more kind of informative videos, not so much just, watching me run around on a lawnmower, but also kind of maybe some client interviews with Rob, taking him through his shop. I've been trying to do that for ages, but each time I go there I don't have the camera with me. Some new properties. I've won a few new places recently, so I'm going to try and take you to some of those. I won a new residential property just the other day, nice easy one. It is push mowing, but it's very easy, so that's alright. It's on the route. Commercial property I've had for a couple of months but haven't filmed. I'm going to try and get you some footage of that. Yeah, and then I'm also going to soon, I'm going to try and make a video about the other side of me, I guess, because you guys can see me here doing lots of lawn care related stuff and making lots of videos for you guys, but it's a small part of my life. It's not my main jam kind of thing, if that makes sense. It's really like it's a 1 or 2 day a week thing that I do. I'm in no means doing this full time. Most of you guys already know I am training to be a pilot, so obviously some guys are saying, oh, why don't you just leave school and then you can go full time with lawn care. Well, sadly the company I'm going for, which a lot of you will probably know, one of the biggest airlines in Australia, it's not exactly too fond of kids leaving school after finishing year 10 and just going out mowing lawns for a few years and saying, hey, I want to get into, one of the biggest unis in Australia, do a nice cadetship and get straight into the right hand seat of an Airbus A380. It doesn't work like that. So I've got to get the nitty gritty work behind the scenes done with the maths, the physics, the English, all that sort of stuff. That needs to be really down pat, and I need to be really good in those areas, which I will, to be honest, I have struggled with a bit, because having started flying so early, obviously I'm already doing my flight training, and just the way my brain works, I'm a very mechanically minded kid, so in a sense it's hard to explain, but I feel I've kind of made the cake without the recipe. So I'm already flying. I'm already well on my way to flying airliners. Everyone at my school's already said, yeah, you can fly, so there's no issue with that side of things. It's just the maths and the physics and so on behind us, that realistically, if you go to uni or if you go to an airline cadet course, you're supposed to start with those bits. You're supposed to start with math methods and your physics and your English and that sort of thing, and you're supposed to build the pyramid up from there. But I've somehow I've built the top of the pyramid and it's just kind of floating there somehow, and the base bit is just who knows where, really. It's like, it's very, very strange and it's very complex, and I don't really understand it myself how I've done what I have, but that's the way things go. So that's why I'm not doing lawn care full time. and that's why I am still sticking with school. I am in year 11 now. I'm really getting to the pointy end of things. I need to focus on that. Hence why my videos have slowed down, because it just, especially with this GoPro now, you know, the files in that, I noticed, I'm sure I've mentioned it before, I can record an entire day's worth of filming with this Sony Handycam that I'm recording on right now, and I can take, you know, a couple of hours worth of footage, 3-4 hours of filming, and I'll be at, you know, 800-900 megabytes. I get to the GoPro, and even just taking, you know, half an hour of footage with that thing and putting it into my vlog, suddenly, you know, 6-7 gigabytes. Like, yeah, it's pretty crazy how, you know, how much space that takes up. And so of course that increases the rendering time, that increases the upload time. I can't even actually, on my editor, when I put it into time-lapse mode, I speed it all up, I can't even watch it, the bits I've recorded with the GoPro, because for some reason it just gets all really laggy and just showing bits. I don't know why. With this Handycam it's pretty good until I get up to like 12-16 times sped up. But the GoPro, yeah, it doesn't like me when I try and speed it up and watch it on the editor. So now I'm having to take time and go through, watch the whole video once I've, or at least the parts with the GoPro, once I've rendered it all, and you know, check that it's all good, and then upload it, and if not, make changes. And it's really hard. So of course, you know, this kind of has to happen in the spare time, which you guys I'm sure already know and understand. Anyhow, back to the main point of this video, because I don't particularly like doing these kind of things, because even in my last vlog, as you guys would have seen, you know, suddenly I'm just blabbering on for way too long. I think the last day with JWN Lawn Care vlog, it was like, out of a 40-minute video or something, it was something like 20-30 minutes of me just talking at the start, which really isn't what I'm aiming for, but you know. So, what I'm going to talk about today, because I was going to put it in that one, but I thought, no, it's getting way too long. I was like an hour and 20 minutes, so I've taken it out, is client agreements. So, hopefully you can see that. This is something I've brought in recently, and it's basically just kind of, you know, telling customers my terms. Like your terms and conditions on a website, or, you know, at the shops, that sort of thing. They'll say what they, you know, cover, and what this means, and when we say this, we mean this, and this is the kind of thing. Most services will have this sort of thing. It just kind of irons out any kinks, because I have had a couple of experiences, I'm sure I've said in other videos recently, where people are trying to give me a run or whatever. So I found having a client agreement sheet, and that they have to sign. So with each new regular ongoing customer, I'm even thinking for, you know, potentially dodgy just one-off ones, I might get them to sign one as well. But tell me what you think about that. It's basically 2 copies of this. So as you can see, I think this one's the client copy I've selected for a new client. I'm going to get them to sign it. I mentioned I won the other day. Next time I go there, I'm just going to get them to have a read through and sign it off, because I wasn't sure whether they were going to be ongoing. It was probably just going to be a one-off when I did the initial service last weekend. So I print out 2 copies, client copy, contractor copy. I circle whichever applies once it's printed out, and that's just name. I'll show you. It's just, hopefully this comes out the right way, by the way. Name, address, phone number, email address, I think it is, yep. And so that's pretty much just, so I've got a number of easy means of contact for them. I've got all their, you know, like vital information for contacting them and for knowing who they are. If any legal trouble arises, I can take this straight to the coppers and say, here's all their details, go figure. And also proof, because on the back, I hope you can see, yep, there, they sign. So they're acknowledging that they've read this, and they understand it, they agree to it, and as soon as they sign this bit of paper, they're saying whatever is on here, you agree to, and I'm going to enforce, and you can enforce as well, if I stuff something up. So it's pretty basic. I did just copy it kind of and change it around a bit off a free template I found on the internet. So it had a similar sort of idea. So I've just basically, you know, done something around that. So, you know, it just covers defining, you know, what I mean by regular maintenance, for instance, here. So, you know, down the bottom, what's regular maintenance? So, you know, as one guy gave me a bit of a run for was, oh, I thought, you know, when you do that, you include pulling out weeds in the lawn and doing this and doing, well, actually, no. And so on. I'll provide all equipment and supplies necessary. The client will grant contractor full access to all lawn and garden areas. That's the first one I've put on there. Just here. Hope you guys can see. Yep, just here. So that's really important because I get some places where you know, there's cars parked all in the driveways and all around the roads, and, you know, I'll drive 2 blocks down the street to, you know, park. And the last thing you want, guys, is when you're using a ride-on mower with the chute open, as mine normally is. Sometimes if I'm getting close to people or cars that are parked, I'll just, you know, you guys know I have the flap pulled up mostly with a what's it called, you know, bloody ocker strap, whatever you want to call it, bungee cord. But the good thing about that is because it's kind of springy, so I can then push that down with my foot if I want to, and I can push it down even more, so it goes right down and just blows the clipping straight down if need be. I am looking at probably fitting or making a mulch plate for it. I'm going to see how that goes, because it's not the best mower and I don't think it'll mulch very well. It's like getting a cheap push mower and, you know, just having the flap closed. It's not gonna, you know, mulch well, in a sense. I don't know, we'll see how we go. But I'm thinking about that just to make it a bit easier and save blowing off time as well. So that's basically just saying, you know, what I've said here is if the contractor finds part or all of the lawn and garden in question inaccessible on the days when work is scheduled to be completed, no work will be commenced and the service will be rebooked for the next cycle. And possibly charge double accordingly if the grass then resultantly grows longer. That's basically saying I'm not going to waste my time because a lot of my clients aren't there when I'm mowing, so I don't have time to stand around for half an hour trying to call, text people saying move your bloody car, and then, oh, you know, that's, you know, in the case of some of it, because I mow a few rental properties for share houses, just students, especially near a couple of universities I mow. So when there's lots of different guys in there and, oh no, he's gone on holidays, oh he's gone out, no, you know, we can't get to his car, sorry, you know, it just makes it hard, because in some places it means that I just cannot get access to the lawn, and the last thing I need is to go all the way out to a property, as I did last week in my last vlog, and, you know, only to find that, well, that's a different thing, but, you know, they haven't contacted me about not wanting the grass cut because it hasn't grown much. So I'm paying my employees. I still have to pay them for driving there and back. And for that particular property, it was, you know, it was a bit of a way out from the rest of my route. So, you know, that's where the next part. Where is it? Down here, number 8. I think that's number 8. Yep. So I said it's the client's responsibility to inform the contractor at least 24 hours prior to scheduled regular maintenance if they wish to rebook their service. The contractor will notify clients as a courtesy either prior to or on the morning of the scheduled work. However, if there is no response from the client requesting a change in day or time of work, the contractor will carry out the service and charge as per normal on the scheduled day. So that's basically me now getting kind of sick of, oh, you know, getting somewhere and then being told, oh no, can you mow next week? Well, sorry, when I had like 3 lawns, okay, maybe I could deal with that a bit more, because I'm not in such a hurry, I didn't have employees and so on. But now that I'm paying people, you know, paying 2 or 3 people to sit around in the car with me, driving around to people who then say, no, I don't want you to mow my lawn today, it just wastes time. And people think, oh, you know, it only wastes 5 minutes. Well, no, it's the 5 minutes standing around there, you know, being told to rebook. But it's also then the, you know, 15-20 minutes I'm spending trying to contact the customer, you know, 20 minutes to drive there, 20 minutes to drive back. So suddenly it's over an hour and a half that I've lost. And that's what you have to think about as a business owner, is not only are you thinking about how long you're spending at the job, it's also how long does it take to prepare for it, how long does it take to get there, how long does it take to get back, getting equipment out, and so on. So you have to take all of that into account. I think some of my clients, particularly new ones, or when I was earlier out, they kind of underestimated me. I have the feeling that some of them, they'd say, oh, you don't have, you won't have any more jobs today, would you? I'm like, I say to them, are you kidding? Like, yeah, I've got more jobs. I've got like another 10 or 11 after you. Some people just take me as a joke who, goes around and mows a couple of the neighbours' lawns. That's not what I'm doing. I am actually trying to run a business here, and I'm paying people, I'm paying insurance, I'm buying good quality equipment. I don't have time to deal with people's shit, because they can't be bothered contacting me. So with some of those people, I just drop them. I don't have that time to waste. It's just not worth it. So that's what I've said on here. And then if they say, oh, why did you mow? I didn't want you mowing today. Well, you should have bloody told me. I send all my clients a message. I have a whole list of reminders on my phone, so I know what I'm going to be doing, and I use that to write up my schedule. So I know who I'm going to mow, and I send them all a message the night before, or 2 nights before. Just a reminder, we're coming to mow this weekend. Please make sure all cars and so on are out of your driveway and, clear the property. If they're, known to be messy, some of those share house places are, they just chuck stuff everywhere. I'm saying, Kawasaki, just, make sure there's no rubbish left in the yard. Easy. And often, people will just say, yep, that's fine, thank you. And if they don't want to, my good clients, if they don't want me to mow, they, because, look, I'm a good guy. I'm not going to, go out and, mow some guy's lawn when it's grown that much. Like, that's not fair. And as happened with this guy in Glen Waverley, he's been a great client. He's a fairly new one. I've only had him since the start of this year, I think, or very late last year, I think. So he's pretty new, and I'm trying to get all these sheets out to all my customers so I can hold them to account more easily. But, I said to him, because I'd sent him a message, just a reminder, we're coming to mow tomorrow, came across, because I didn't hear a reply, so I'm like, well, we say we're going to mow, if we don't hear a reply, we just, we are happy to assume that that means you're alright with us mowing, and if you're not, you should be telling us. Get to the property, oh, that doesn't look like it needs mowing, so I checked the back quickly, no, that basically hasn't grown either. So I sent him a message, I said, look mate, what's going on? I didn't hear anything back from you. He said, oh, yeah, no, it doesn't really need cutting. I said, well, you know that you're supposed to notify me beforehand if you don't want it mowed. I said, do you know the schedule? I come every 3 weeks. I sent you a message last night saying that, we were going to be coming to mow. I said, look, because you're a good guy and because, it's the first time, alright, and I was kind of in that direction anyhow, alright, I'll let it slide the first time, but so I don't want it happening again, because that was the day I had a couple of guys out, which you guys will see because I haven't uploaded that one. Yes, no, I haven't. So I said, I've now paid a couple of my helpers, something like $30. I think, what's the point in that? So I've just lost $30 driving there and back. Why should that happen? And he said, oh yeah, I'm really sorry, I'll make sure, So I said, look, that's fine, just please let me know. So, for some people, if they're normally good, alright, I'll, the ones I really love are like those ones up in Forest Hill I cut, the couple up there that you guys have seen quite a lot, the old lady up there, the other week, you'll see her yard in this next vlog I'm going to put up probably after this video. She called me 2 weeks ago, I think it was, 3 weeks ago, because I was supposed to cut her 2 weeks back. Is it? I cut her 2 weeks ago. I was supposed to cut her 3 weeks ago, but she called me up, 3 or 4 days before I was supposed to come and said, look, I think you're coming to mow this Saturday, aren't you? I said, well, yes, you know, I've just sent out a reminder to your son, all good. And she said, oh, you know, it hasn't really grown, can you come back next week? And I said, yeah, that's fine. I said, sure, you know, thanks for letting me know. Easy. So suddenly, I can just take her off the list. I can rebook her easily. I've got so much spare time, fill her spot. Whereas if people are doing it to me on the day, or halfway through the day when we're about to arrive at their house, what can I do then? So that's something that's really bugged me, and that's what I have put this in for. Another thing, number 9. All payments are to be made in full by the client within 7 days of completion of work, unless otherwise agreed between the client and contractor. All payments should be made by cash, bank transfer, or credit card. If the customer wishes to pay via PayPal, the associated fees will be added onto the invoice. If paying through a credit card, a 1.9% fee will be added on. That's that little square thing I've got over there that I'm still setting up. They charge a 1.9% fee, so just add that in. If payment is not made within 7 days, without other agreements between the client and contractor, a $5 late fee will be applied, which will double with every week that the payment is overdue. For jobs quoted over $250, 25% deposit if payable before any work is started. That's just a simple thing for me, because I've had blokes, seriously guys, that have waited, like, it's taken them 6 bloody weeks to pay me. 6 weeks, right? I was just about ready for that particular place to go mow it again when I finally got payment for the last one. I've got another apartment complex. I think you guys saw a couple of vlogs back. I think they've got 4 that are outstanding. No, I think the guy might have switched numbers, so I'm following that up. But they've, you know, so I've waited a couple of months for payment. I still haven't got that from them. People think that, you know, oh, it doesn't matter, it's just a kit. Well, no, Connor expects payment on the day. Max expects payment on the day. Any of my other, you know, helpers expect payment just on the spot. They don't expect to wait 4 or 5 weeks until I get paid to get paid. I have to pay them now. So why shouldn't I get paid by clients in a similar way? And most of my clients are really good with that. You know, I'll send them a message if they're not home. I'll send them a message when we're finished, you know, just saying all finished, and they say, great, bank transfer's been made, or whatever it is. Fantastic. Couple of days, boom, there it is. Then I tick it off on my book, on my client record book, so I can see that they've paid. I've recorded it. Great. And when they don't, start sending reminders, you know. I don't want to be fooling around with that, because it's just too easy to lose track of stuff and you can end up losing a lot of money. That guy that I did some landscaping work for, I haven't spoken much about him because I'm not really sure what's going on with that yet, so I probably can't say too much until it's all been sorted, but he owes me about $1,000, I think, and that was like 20th of December last year. So it's the 21st of March today, 2018. So, you know, how fair is that? It's not. Number 10, the contractor reserves the right to suspend and or permanently terminate services at all time, or at any time. That's a big thing, because some people think, haha, you know, I'm the only one that can fire the guy. Well, no, if you're a shitty client, the contractor can fire you as well. Sorry, just about choked there. So yeah, that's just saying to them that I'm not going to screw around with you. If you're being a dick, I will just fire you. I'll kick you off my list, and that's what I've already done with another client recently, because they're shitty people, shitty job, excuse the French, and just, you know, I don't have time to deal with them. Incidentally, they're the ones that took 6 weeks to pay last time. I want it done every 6 weeks or something. I'm done with that. I just won another job the other day that takes me, I reckon it will take me 15 minutes, or me and Connor or me and Max 15 minutes, just push mowing. It's literally just like a front yard. I quoted for that $38, I think. Like, you know, 15 max, right? And we're done. versus these oafs up the road that want to pay $40 for a big corner block. I'd say at least 3/4 of an acre. Well, maybe that's a bit much, but you know, it's a big yard, right? It's huge. And they want it all push mowed. They want all the grass collected. And they want it looking really neat and tidy. But they want it done every 6 weeks. That's not how it goes, fellas. Everyone in America freaks out. Oh my god, I've got a bi-weekly yard. Oh, honestly, why can't people stick with weekly? Try getting weekly yards in Australia, folks. Doesn't happen. I have got one weekly at the moment, and that's the neighbours across the road because they're selling their house. So I've been mowing their lawn weekly between the inspections because they've been watering their grass like the world's going to end. So it grows pretty quick, and you know, just keeping it neat and everything. So I'm mowing that weekly, but seriously guys, that's the only weekly job I have out of 30-something clients. One weekly. Everything else is 2+. So it's normally between 2 and 6. But yeah, so with people like that, you know, I figure, well, if I've just won a job that I get about the same amount for, but it takes me, you know, over an hour less, because that other one, it would take me at least an hour and 15, if not an hour and a half, doing it on my own. And I don't want to, you know, have a helper with it, on it, because, you know, it still doesn't take much less longer, so that didn't make sense. It doesn't, you know, it doesn't reduce my time there much, so I end up making a loss. I'm not going to do that. So, you know what, I've picked up one over there, kick these ones. Easy. So yeah, that's why I say that, because then that tells the clients that you are in power too, and you are saying you're not going to screw around with them, you're not going to put up with their shit. If they're giving you hell, you will fire them. And, you know, some people are scared to because they don't have tons of lawns or they need the money or whatever. Just do it. It's not worth your worry, it's not worth your stress, it's not worth your time. It's not worth you losing the money. So that's where I've been lucky that whenever I've kicked a client, I've often taken on, you know, at least one other job that pays often far better, like 2 or 3 times what the one I kicked did. And they often take less than half the time. So it's a win all around. It can be hard, but that's a decision you have to make sometimes. You have to know when enough is enough and you've put up with it for long enough. So that's what, you know, I put that in there for. Green waste will be disposed of in the client's green bin, because some people reckon you take all your stuff away. Well, specifically requested by the client, this is number 5 here, guys. All lawns mowed will be mulched, not collected. If the client prefers that the grass is collected, make sure their green bin's out. If there is no green waste bin available or it's full and the client does not wish to pay for removal of green waste, the contractor will mulch the grass instead. Because I've literally had some people, they will say, oh, can you pick the grass up actually when I'm halfway through the lawn? I'm like, really? Or, oh, can you cut it lower? Really? I've had people ask me if I can take the cut height down another couple of notches after I've finished the entire job. And for big ones, that's a real time waster. So I just say, oh, sorry, not right now. If you wanted that done, you should have asked me when I was 2 minutes into it, not finished and getting the mower back on the trailer. I don't understand. Again, I think it's this thing of people think I'm their only client or I'm one of their very few clients. So, well, they're one of my very few clients, so I can just, you know, take as long as I like, you know, and I've got nothing else better to do. Well, no, that's not actually the case. I've got schoolwork to do. I've got a family to, you know, be with. I've got friends to be with. I've got a life to live, right? I've got other lawns to mow. So that's why I say that. contract or yeah, blah blah blah. Only work that's quoted for will be performed. This is another part of that regular maintenance thing I was saying. Number 7 here. Oh, hey, look. What's this? Oh, intercom. One moment. Sorry about that, guys. So, yeah, only work that I'm quoting for is going to be performed. Any additional work that is requested by the client after the quote has been completed and agreed upon by the client and contractor will be added on and charged for accordingly. It's the client's responsibility, blah blah blah. Any additional work, including cutting the grass shorter, this is where I put it in, requested by the client once the previously agreed upon work has been completed and the contractor is getting ready to leave the property, will be declined and or scheduled in for the next regular service. So that's basically me saying, I'm not going to, you know, suddenly go off and do other stuff while I'm just about ready to leave. If you just spontaneously decide to ask me to do something else as well, you've got to tell me early. I say at least 24 hours prior to the commencement of either initial or regular maintenance. Just so I've got time to, again, schedule it in, because you know, when you're doing 10, 11 lawns in a day, which really isn't many compared to what a lot of guys do, but for me, with the number of clients I have, you know, it's alright. I write down on my, what am I calling it, job sheet, my schedule, I write down what work is going to be completed for each, person, for each customer. So, you know, I've got a whole bunch of abbreviations I use just to make it easier. So like SMS for stab mow service, so just mow, trim, edge, blow, gone. H, hedge trimming. W, weeding. WS, weed spraying. ROM, I think, but I don't really use that anymore because I do a lot of ride-on mowing anyhow with most of them. Just that sort of stuff. Clean up, CU. Just so I can see what I'm going to be doing. I can add it in so I can factor in time and so on for that. It just makes it easier because I can remember if I need to take any extra stuff like weed sprayers or whatever. Because as you know, well, I got to this new property the other day, and you know, originally it was just going to be trim up some of the hedges and mow the lawn. Great. So I quoted that and so on. And then when we get there and we're started, the lady says, "Oh, can you spray some of these weeds as well?" Oh, no, because I don't have my sprayer here. So yeah, just stuff like that. Oh, okay, that's fine. But I said to her, look, I said, you know, once she sent me a message the other night just saying, you know, I want regular maintenance. I said, look, I'll chuck in that weed spraying the next service for you. She said, great. So just stuff like that. It just, you know, it makes it easier for me if people are telling me early what they want, rather than late. So, I think that's all on the back. So there's really only 10 different things I've got on here, guys. It's just, you know, obvious. Regular maintenance, number 3. Unless otherwise mutually agreed between the client and contractor, consists of the following: mowing, trimming, edging, blowing off. Anything outside of this is considered an extra service and will be charged for accordingly. That's pretty much just so that people know what I consider just regular maintenance. So I say, do you want regular maintenance? Yep. Okay, that consists of this, this, this. Great. Do you want anything else? Yeah, I want this and this. Okay, well let's, you know, factor that in. So then, there is no trouble with, oh, I thought when you do that you then, because see, some of these $20 or $30 mow lowballers, what they'll do is, for some reason, I don't understand, it is incredible, we cannot as contractors fathom how these guys operate at such a low cost doing so much, because I'll say, oh yeah, I'll take care of your garden, $30, and what do? They mow the lawn, and, you know, clean up, sweep, they probably don't even have a leaf blower, they just sweep up the clippings, or grass or whatever, pull out the weeds and trim up the bushes and so on. Guys, I can't be charging $30 for that. You know, if they're spending an hour and a half, 2 hours there, I'm thinking, what are you doing? Especially, and that's where I found I've really started to, you know, try and bump up my pricing as I've started pulling on people like Connor and like Max and so on, because I'm seeing that actually, yeah, okay, I was doing alright when I was going solo at the prices I was charging, but once you're factoring employees as well, suddenly it's a whole nother kettle of fish, because suddenly it's not just you're accounting for, you're also having to pay, I have to pay, you know, my helpers $16 an hour, right? That's what Fair Work Australia says. They set out all the minimum wages. That's what I've got to pay them. So, you know, I've got to factor that in. I've got to think, well, how long am I going to be spending here? You know, are they going to be on this job with me? How long are they going to take? What are we going to be doing? And then I get a quote from that. So, yeah, that's my client agreement. And it's been working really, really well for me so far. It's just really helpful for, you know, trying to figure out what you're going to do. So yeah, it's been a super useful tool for me. Tell me if you guys use anything similar in your business. I'd be really interested to know, how do you set it out? What's yours cover? And how do you deal with these kind of issues when they arise if you don't have something like this? So let me know in the comments below, and we'll see you in the next video. So have a great night, everyone.